Hello and welcome to this episode of the Recruitment Podcast, where we celebrate academic recruitment and bring education to everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into how data is changing the game in higher education, particularly when it comes to talent.
It's not just about crunching numbers. Data offers a way to truly understand the people who make up a university, their strengths, their goals, and what kind of environment they need to do their best work.
That's a great point. It seems like a lot of institutions are moving beyond the old ways of attracting talent.
Absolutely. Posting a generic job description and hoping for the best just doesn't cut it anymore. Institutions are using data to get a much clearer picture of their ideal candidates.
So it's about more than just skills and experience on a resume.
Exactly. Data can reveal what truly motivates someone, what kind of work environment they thrive in, even their preferred work-life balance. Having this kind of insight allows for a much more targeted and effective recruitment strategy.
Can you give an example of how this might work in practice?
Let's say a university is looking to fill a research position that requires a high level of collaboration. They could use data to identify candidates who have a demonstrated history of working successfully in teams, perhaps through analyzing their past publications or involvement in collaborative projects.
That makes sense. It's about looking beyond the traditional qualifications and finding individuals who are truly a good fit for the role and the institution's culture.
Precisely. And this approach can also help universities expand their talent pool beyond the usual suspects.
What do you mean by that?
Data can help break free from the limitations of a skinny resume. Someone may have gained valuable skills through non-traditional experiences that wouldn't necessarily show up on a traditional CV.
So a candidate who has spearheaded community projects or taken on leadership roles outside of their formal work experience might actually be a perfect fit for a management position.
Exactly. Data can help unearth those hidden gems and bring in individuals with diverse backgrounds and perspectives, which ultimately enriches the institution as a whole.
Now, once you've attracted these talented individuals, how can data help institutions support their growth and development?
One of the most powerful applications of data is in creating personalized learning and development plans. By analyzing data on an employee's skills, interests, and career aspirations, institutions can tailor training programs to meet their specific needs.
So instead of offering generic workshops that might not be relevant to everyone, you're providing customized support that helps individuals reach their full potential.
Exactly. It's about empowering people to take ownership of their own development and providing them with the tools and resources they need to succeed.
This approach also seems like it could be valuable in identifying potential leaders within an organization.
Absolutely. Data can track things like project leadership, mentorship activities, and participation in committees, revealing individuals who demonstrate natural leadership qualities, even if they're not in a formal management position yet.
That's a great point. By identifying these individuals early on, institutions can provide them with targeted development opportunities to prepare them for future leadership roles.
It's about recognizing potential and nurturing it, which can have a significant impact on both the individual's career trajectory and the overall success of the institution.
This all sounds very promising, but I can imagine that some people might have concerns about using data in this way. Are there any potential downsides or ethical considerations that institutions need to be aware of?
Of course. With any powerful tool, it's important to use it responsibly. Data privacy is paramount, and institutions need to be transparent with their employees about what data they're collecting and how it's being used.
That's a crucial point. It's about building trust and ensuring that individuals feel comfortable with how their information is being handled.
Exactly. It's also important to ensure that the data being used is accurate and unbiased. Any decisions made based on flawed or incomplete data could have negative consequences.
So it's about being thoughtful and deliberate in how data is used, and always keeping the best interests of the individuals and the institution in mind.
Precisely. Data is a powerful tool, but it should be used ethically and responsibly to create a positive and supportive environment for everyone involved.
Now let's move on to perhaps the most challenging aspect of talent management in higher education: retention.
It's no secret that institutions are facing a real struggle when it comes to keeping talented individuals engaged and fulfilled in their roles.
What are some of the factors contributing to this challenge?
There are a number of contributing factors. One is the increasing competition from other sectors. Higher education is no longer the only option for talented individuals seeking a rewarding career.
So universities are now competing with private companies and other organizations that might offer more competitive salaries or different work environments.
Exactly, and this is particularly true for certain in-demand fields, where professionals have a wide range of options to choose from.
Another factor I've heard mentioned is burnout.
Hmm.
Academic work can be incredibly demanding and often requires a high level of dedication.
That's right. Higher education professionals are often deeply passionate about their work, but that passion can sometimes lead to overwork and burnout, especially if they feel unsupported or undervalued.
It seems like a lack of career growth opportunities might also be a contributing factor.
Absolutely. In many higher education institutions, the organizational structure is relatively flat, which can limit opportunities for advancement. This can be frustrating for ambitious individuals who are looking to climb the career ladder.
So talented individuals might leave for positions in other sectors where there are more opportunities for leadership roles or upward mobility.
Exactly. And this can be a significant loss for universities, as they lose valuable experience and expertise.
So given all these challenges,
Yeah.
what can institutions do to improve retention rates and create a more supportive and fulfilling environment for their employees?
That's a complex question with no easy answers, but data can definitely play a role in identifying areas for improvement and developing targeted interventions.
Huh.
For example, by analyzing data from employee surveys, exit interviews, and even performance reviews. Institutions can identify trends and patterns that might be contributing to turnover.
This could reveal issues like inadequate professional development opportunities,
Yeah.
a lack of work-life balance, or even a mismatch between an individual's skills and the requirements of their role.
Exactly. Armed with this knowledge, institutions can then develop targeted programs and initiatives to address these specific issues.
So data can be a powerful tool for understanding the needs, concerns of employees and creating a more supportive and engaging work environment.
It's about moving beyond assumptions and using data to make informed decisions that benefit both the individuals and the institution as a whole.
This has been a fascinating conversation so far. We've covered a lot of ground, from attracting talent to developing it to retaining it. I'm curious to learn more about how these ideas are being put into practice in real-world settings.
Absolutely. There are some inspiring examples of how institutions are using data to create a more positive and productive work environment for their employees.
Well, I'm eager to hear more about those examples. Let's continue this deep dive in our next segment.
One area where we're seeing a lot of innovation is in onboarding. Traditionally, onboarding has been a rather generic process, but institutions are now using data to tailor the experience to the individual.
That makes a lot of sense. Starting a new job can be overwhelming, especially in a complex environment like a university.
Exactly. By using data about a new hire's background, skills, and interests, institutions can connect them with relevant resources, mentors, and even social events from day one.
It's like creating a personalized roadmap for success within the institution.
Precisely. And this kind of personalized attention can go a long way in making a new employee feel valued and supported, increasing the likelihood that they'll stay with the institution long term.
We talked earlier about using data to identify potential leaders within an organization. Can you elaborate on how that works in practice?
Some institutions are developing sophisticated systems that track various data points related to leadership potential. This might include things like leading projects, mentoring colleagues, participating in committees, or even taking initiative in professional development opportunities.
So it's about looking beyond traditional metrics like years of experience or job titles.
Exactly. These data-driven systems can highlight individuals who might not have been on the radar for leadership roles through traditional means. It's about identifying those who demonstrate a natural aptitude for leadership regardless of their current position.
Once these individuals are identified, how can data be used to support their development?
Institutions can use data to create personalized development plans that cater to the specific needs of each individual. This might include targeted training programs, mentorship opportunities, or even shadowing experiences with senior leaders.
It's about providing the right kind of support at the right time to help these individuals grow into effective leaders.
Precisely. And by investing in the development of its people, an institution can create a pipeline of talented leaders who are ready to step up and take on new challenges.
This all sounds very promising, but I'm also curious about the potential challenges and concerns that institutions might face when implementing these data-driven approaches to talent management.
You're right to raise that point. Like any powerful tool, data needs to be used thoughtfully and responsibly. One potential concern is data security. Institutions need to have robust systems in place to protect sensitive employee information.
That's essential. A data breach could not only compromise an individual's privacy, but also damage the reputation of the institution.
Absolutely. Another challenge is ensuring that data is used ethically and fairly. Any algorithms or systems that are used to analyze data need to be carefully scrutinized to ensure that they're not perpetuating biases or creating unfair outcomes.
So it's not just about having the right technology and tools, but also about having the right mindset and approach to data.
Exactly. Institutions need to develop clear guidelines and protocols for how data is collected, analyzed, and used. They also need to foster a culture of transparency and open communication with their employees.
It sounds like building trust is crucial. Employees need to feel confident that their data is being handled responsibly and ethically.
Absolutely. Without trust, any efforts to implement data-driven talent management practices are likely to face resistance and skepticism.
So institutions need to be thoughtful and deliberate in their approach to data and always prioritize the well-being and privacy of their employees.
Precisely. Data can be a powerful tool for good, but it needs to be used in a way that benefits everyone involved.
Now let's shift our focus to a specific area where data is proving to be particularly valuable in higher education talent management: retention. We touched on some of the challenges earlier, but I'm interested in learning more about how data can be used to address those challenges and improve retention rates.
One of the most effective ways to improve retention is to identify the root causes of turnover. And data can be incredibly helpful in doing just that. By analyzing data from exit interviews, employee surveys, and even performance reviews, institutions can gain valuable insights into why people are leaving.
So it's about understanding the underlying factors that are driving people away, rather than just treating the symptoms.
Exactly. Once you understand the why, you can start to develop targeted interventions to address the issue.
Can you give us some concrete examples of how data might be used to improve retention?
Certainly. Let's say an institution is experiencing high turnover among early career faculty members. By analyzing data, they discover that a lack of mentorship opportunities and a feeling of isolation are major contributing factors to their departures.
So they could use that insight to develop a formal mentorship program that pairs junior faculty with more experienced colleagues.
Precisely. They could also create opportunities for social interaction and networking, perhaps through regular events or workshops.
It sounds like data can help personalize the employee experience, not just in onboarding, but throughout an individual's career.
Absolutely. And personalization is key to creating a work environment where people feel valued, supported, and motivated to stay.
Data can also be used to predict which employees might be at risk of leaving, allowing institutions to intervene proactively.
That's right. By analyzing data points like performance reviews, salary history, and even engagement in professional development activities, institutions can identify individuals who might be considering other opportunities.
So instead of waiting for someone to hand in their resignation, they can reach out and offer support or address any concerns before it's too late.
Exactly. It's about being proactive rather than reactive. Data can help institutions shift from a mindset of replacing employees to one of retaining them.
This all makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering, are there any specific examples of institutions that are successfully implementing these data-driven approaches to talent management, particularly in the area of retention?
Absolutely. There are some great examples out there. One university that's been doing impressive work in this area is using data to personalize professional development opportunities for its staff.
That's interesting. How does that work?
They've developed a system that tracks each employee's skills, interests, and career goals. Based on this data, the system recommends relevant workshops, courses, and even mentorship opportunities.
It's like having a personal career advisor.
Exactly. And this personalized approach has led to a significant increase in employee engagement and a decrease in turnover. Employees feel like their professional growth is being supported, and they're more likely to see a long-term future at the institution.
That's a great example of how data can be used to create a more supportive and fulfilling work environment. Are there any other institutions that are doing interesting things in this space?
Another university has been using data to identify and address potential sources of burnout among its faculty.
Burnout is a huge problem in academia, so I'm curious to learn more about how they're tackling it.
They started by collecting data through surveys and focus groups to understand the specific factors contributing to burnout among their faculty. They found that heavy workloads, a lack of administrative support, and a feeling of disconnect from the institution's mission were major concerns.
That's valuable information. What did they do with those insights?
They used the data to develop a multi-pronged strategy to address the issue. They implemented programs to provide faculty with more administrative support, created opportunities for faculty to connect with one another and with the institution's leadership, and even offered workshops on stress management and work-life balance.
It sounds like they took a holistic approach, recognizing that burnout is a complex issue with multiple contributing factors.
Exactly. And the results have been positive. They've seen a decrease in burnout rates among their faculty, and they've also seen an increase in job satisfaction and overall morale.
These are just a few examples of how data is being used to create a more positive and productive work environment in higher education. It's clear that data has the potential to transform the way institutions attract, develop, and retain talent.
It's an exciting time to be working in this field. Data is giving us new tools and insights that can help us create a more human-centered workplace where everyone feels valued, supported, and empowered to do their best work.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation. I've learned a lot about how data is changing the game in higher education. But before we wrap up, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the future of data-driven talent management. What trends are you seeing, and what are you most excited about?
It has been a pleasure discussing this with you.
Absolutely. It's inspiring to see how institutions are leveraging data not just for efficiency, but to create a better experience for their employees.
It really highlights how data can be a force for positive change in the academic world.
Speaking of positive change, we've talked a lot about attracting and retaining talent. But what about developing the talent that's already within an institution? How is data helping with that?
That's a key area where data is making a significant impact. Traditionally, professional development in higher education has often been a one-size-fits-all approach.
You mean like offering the same workshops or training programs to everyone regardless of their individual needs or goals?
Exactly. But now institutions are using data to create much more personalized development pathways. They're analyzing data on employees' skills, interests, career aspirations, and even their learning preferences to tailor development opportunities that truly meet their individual needs.
So it's like creating a customized learning journey for each employee.
Precisely. And this personalized approach is not only more effective in terms of skill development, but it also shows employees that the institution is invested in their growth and success.
Which can contribute to a greater sense of loyalty and a commitment.
Absolutely. When employees feel supported in their professional development, they're more likely to stay with the institution long term.
Data can also be used to identify potential skills gaps within an institution, allowing for proactive training and development initiatives.
That's right. By analyzing data on the skills required for different roles and comparing it to the current skill set of the workforce, institutions can identify areas where they need to invest in training or recruitment.
So data can help ensure that the institution has the talent it needs to meet its strategic goals, both now and in the future.
Precisely. It's about being proactive and forward-thinking in terms of talent development.
This all makes a lot of sense, but I'm also aware that there can be challenges and even pushback when it comes to using data in this way. What are some of the obstacles that institutions might encounter?
One common challenge is simply the lack of data literacy within an organization. Not everyone understands how to interpret and use data effectively, which can lead to skepticism or even resistance to data-driven initiatives.
So it's not just about having the data, it's about having the skills and knowledge to make sense of it.
Exactly. Institutions need to invest in training and development for their employees to build data literacy across the organization.
Another potential challenge is ensuring that data is used ethically and responsibly.
Absolutely. We've touched on this before, but it's worth emphasizing. Institutions need to be transparent with their employees about how their data is being collected and used. They also need to have clear guidelines and safeguards in place to protect privacy and prevent misuse of data.
It's about building trust and ensuring that everyone feels comfortable with how data is being integrated into the workplace.
Exactly. Data should be used to empower and support individuals, not to control or monitor them.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. We've explored how data is revolutionizing the way higher education institutions attract, develop, and retain talent. It's clear that data has the potential to create a more human-centered, effective workplace for everyone.
I completely agree. Data is a powerful tool that, when used ethically and thoughtfully, can help us build a stronger and more vibrant higher education sector.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise. This has been a truly valuable deep dive.
The pleasure was all mine. I hope this deep dive has been valuable for your listeners.
I'm sure it has. And for our listeners, if you're looking for your next opportunity in higher education, be sure to visit academicjobs.com, where you can find all the latest listings in your field. Thanks for joining us.